forces in this world, both mutant and human alike, believe that a war is coming. Anything happens.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel has a big problem. You've probably seen a ton of the supposed Avengers Doomsday slop images flooding your social feeds all over the internet the past couple of days, creating a situation right before they're about to release their first official trailer for the movie. This definitely means that Marvel and Disney are going to sue someone out of existence, but don't worry, they're probably not going to sue you, an actual person. They're going to be going after a giant platform. That is usually what happens in situations like this. What I'll do is explain what I think is fake and what is real and what is actually going on, because it just seems like we're in the middle of that era where slop has started to overtake legitimate fan art, and it's gone way beyond people just having fun messing around. It's threatening to potentially harm people's business. We've even gotten to the point where brand new people who probably never seen my videos before or my face before will ask me if I'm AI, even if I'm speaking to them in a video. Like my brother in Christ, I'm here in a video speaking to you personally. This is a big issue affecting all creators just in general, not just small people like me, but big companies, Marvel, DC, Disney, everybody. Which is why you're starting to hear about way more regulation about the way this kind of stuff gets used. Way more lawsuits being thrown around at the highest levels. Because Marvel, all studios in general, like James Gunn, reposts a lot of fan art. It's all amazing. Where they start to get litigious, though, is when it becomes malicious, harmful to their actual businesses. What happened is just yesterday, as me posting this video, a random Twitter account posted these images saying that they were first looks at some of the characters in Avengers Doomsday. They look pretty convincing, but you'll notice one of them is Kevin Feige wearing an Avengers Doomsday hat. He does this all the time where he'll reveal the productions that they're working on based on the hats that he wears. This is how we found out what the logo for Deadpool and Wolverine was, because he wore a hat to a public award show. So far, we have not seen a confirmed image of him in real life walking around in a Doomsday hat yet. So naturally, people were arguing over whether or not these were real because Shang-Chi only has 7 rings of power, not 10, and they're not the right color of energy. Doctor Strange's belt is different in both images. So personally, I think that these are fake, but they're based on real descriptions of characters in the movie in their costumes that we've seen in some previews for art that's already been released and we know is real. For instance, Kevin Feige will wear a hat that does look like this, but I think this picture of Kevin Feige is fake. So somebody went out and made these based on real bits of information, but the pictures themselves were made by a fan. As you'll see, this is going to be a common theme with a lot of the rest of this.
You can't trick me anymore.
Where the vibe started to turn, though, is that within the span of a couple hours yesterday, my entire social feed was flooded with very convincing but very fake-looking art. For example, most of the X-Men characters here in Monica Rambeau, we know that she is on the X-Men Earth right now, so somebody probably based this on real-life stuff. There's another one with Famke's Jean Grey and Halle Berry's Storm, claiming that it was Patrick Stewart posting this on his Instagram, but we know that Patrick Stewart did not post this on his Instagram. One of the real easy ways to spot that this is a fake is that Jean Grey here has extra fingers. Always a telltale sign, having extra digits, extra mystery body parts, missing body parts. That Alan Cumming Nightcrawler looks totally different in both images. Halle Berry's Storm also has 2 completely different costumes in 2 of the images it posted. There's even a sign on the wall mentioning Avengers Doomsday reshoots. Notice the text is all janky and misshapen. It would not be if it were real. One of the other telltale signs here too is that Marvel has not tried to take any of these images down for copyright infringement yet. Sometimes Marvel doesn't immediately go after leaks, but usually they do go after really big leaks like these would be if they were real. What I actually think is going on here is that there's a new AI image generation tool that just rolled out in the last couple of days called Nano Banana Pro, using Google's Gemini technology, enabling it to do much more lifelike but very fake stuff. And someone or multiple people use it to create all of these in a really short time span, very quickly, based on actual leaks from earlier this year on real Marvel Avengers Doomsday wrap party artwork. I did a video about this a while ago because it was real. A while ago, there was an actual wrap party, actual cast and crew gifs leaked out showing the characters in their new costumes in the movie, but notice it was woven artwork like patchwork. I think that somebody just took these and made all these new generated fake images to look like actual real-life leaks so that they seem more realistic. So in the actual movie, their suits will all look closer to these fake images, but these are still fake, like a fan still made all this stuff that you're seeing in your feeds right now. There's a bunch of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man images that also just posted. They look very convincing, and even though I think that he is definitely in the Avengers Doomsday movie, and I think that his suit is going to look like this, these images floating around in your feed are totally fake. Next really good example of this is X-23 in a comic book accurate suit. I definitely think she's in the movie, but I don't think her suit is going to look like this. Kelsey Grammer also just did a very real interview where he said he has scenes with Thor, Pedro Pascal's, Reed Richards, and Doctor Doom. I am sure Kevin Feige's snipers are going to give him a really nasty phone call and then give him a visit.
I really had a great time with the new guy from Fantastic Four.
Oh, Pedro.
Pedro.
But right after the interview posted, mysteriously, this image of Beast going after Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards popped up, which is definitely fake now, I think we could say. You also notice how his Fantastic Four suit is totally different from the one that we just saw him in the actual real leaks. This is what it's going to look like in the movie, closer to the 1960s version that we saw at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. There are a bunch of Rogue, Angel, Jean Grey in her alternative classic green suit from the comics, Jubilee even, who I definitely don't think is in the movie. Famke has said that she's not in the movie either, and Halle Berry as well. I believe them because I think that they're all on Secret Wars, not Doomsday. Now, not Jubilee. I don't think that Jubilee is in the movies, but you get the idea. Storm, Jean Grey, they'll probably be in Secret Wars. There's also this one of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, mind you, MCU Iron Man, with Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Young Gruffid's Reed Richards. Even though it's probably one of the most real-looking of the bunch, like some fan did a really good job with this, notice that Iron Man is in a very old version of his armor. His face is not scarred at all from Endgame, so it doesn't even look like it's Doctor Doom pretending to be Iron Man, and Hulk is not in his Savage Hulk form, which he's supposed to be turning back into during Spider-Man Brand New Day. So even if Doctor Doom shows up in Avengers Doomsday and at some point pretends to be MCU Iron Man, his face would still be scarred. He also probably wouldn't be wearing an Iron Man armor suit this old. There are a couple examples of Doctor Doom with Loki in the TVA. For example here, if they're in the TVA, and this is after the events of Loki Season 2, why is Loki back in his prison jumpsuit again? Where is Doctor Doom's cape? Where are his scars? The armor isn't even accurate to the real leaks that we saw from earlier this year. This is what his armor is supposed to look like, or closer to this. Probably my favorite fan-made one so far that I think we can say is confirmed fan-made is either Robert Downey Jr. himself reacting to the fake leaks, like how meta can you get, I'm the fake picture of the dude playing a dude pretending to be another dude created by an AI image generation tool. Then there's the very obvious fake of him in the TVA calling out your mom as the source of all these recent images. S-tier meme material here. Also notice the computers behind him are not the same design language as the 1970s vibe of the TVA. Like, this is 1980s technology, not 1970s technology. So nothing in this image looks right at all.
Hey, y'all. I'm Miss Minutes.
So like I said, I think that a lot of these are all based on things that are actually happening in the movie, like real descriptions, real leaks that fans have turned into generated images. For instance, I think that Doctor Doom will at some point in the movie visit the TVA and the characters will be at the TVA. We've already seen real leaks of them filming at the TVA, so we know it's going to happen. We know that at some point the X-Men characters will be together like this, and their costumes will look similar to this, but this obviously fake. So yes, there's a kernel of truth in some of this, but it's still all technically fan art. I say 99% of the stuff that you're probably seeing right now in your Twitter and Instagram feeds, probably fan art. The good news, though, is that Marvel is supposed to release an actual official trailer in the next several weeks. We might not see all the characters in that, but once they do, we'll actually get an official look at what these characters will look like in the movie. But do not be surprised if after that you start seeing some of this art show up in your feeds, like it's still fan art, but it's tuned to look more like what actually happens in the trailers. Typically, what Marvel and Disney, other big studios, do when stuff like this becomes a real problem, like there's a difference between people just having fun doing fan art, and then there's when it becomes an actual problem. When it becomes an actual problem, usually they sue the company facilitating everything, in this case, Artis.io, which hosts this Nano Banana Pro platform. This has actually happened a couple times in the past with other image generation platforms like this. Usually what they do is they'll just ban you from being able to make stuff based on copyrighted IP. Like, you won't be able to actually do stuff based on these actors or these characters anymore. Right now, Disney is in a couple big lawsuits about stuff like this on separate different platforms. Just in terms of what's actually going on, the realest thing that has actually happened in the last couple of days is that Kelsey Grammer video where he talks about his beast sharing scenes with Thor and the other characters like Doctor Doom, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. What I do think is happening is that his beast is the same one that we saw at the end of the Marvels movie, which is why Monica Rambeau just wound up on the X-Men Earth that is going to be featured with these classic X-Men characters that we saw during Chair Watch, and it will be Channing Tatum Gambit's X-Men team that he talked about during Deadpool and Wolverine. That is probably where he got sent to with that portal at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine. You see on the monitors in the background, they released the full video of it later, but there's a portal that opens up. You can see it reflected in his eyes at the very end of the film. He was probably just sent back to that same X-Men Earth. There have been all kinds of theories about how this leads into Avengers Secret Wars, what's happening with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man versus Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man, why it's Tobey Maguire in the movie and not Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man. So we'll just do more videos about that as we get more information. So if you have any special requests or any big questions that I didn't address in this video, just write them below in the comments. Usually stuff like this with like all these images isn't that big of a deal because it's just kind of a one-off thing every once in a while. Like you can kind of tell what's going on. It's just that it's gotten to the point where there's so much of it and it looks so convincing that it felt like it was important to actually do a video about like, no, this is real, this is not real. Usually what happens in situations like this is one of two things happens first. Either they clamp down on a corporate level because of lawsuits or threat of lawsuits, or people just get really sick of it, so they stop posting this stuff online. There's a ton of stuff coming up, like I said, official Avengers Doomsday trailer. I'll do more videos about that as soon as they do start releasing official material. Everybody click here to learn about Stargate coming back, and click here for my brand new Thanos video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.